This is Charles Henry. You're watching Blerdkast. Stay tuned. This is Blerdography.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. And do you have anything you want to promote coming up, or do you want to promote your channel anyway? Any cons you're going to that you might want to have your fans know about or my fans know about?
I'm very disappointed that I could not make it to BlerdCon or DreamCon this year. And MomoCon. I was supposed to meet you in MomoCon. I meant to
You
say
were.
that. And I just, man, things came up around the home, and I just had to take care of some responsibilities. I was battling with my health a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm back on track now. It's been it was a rough quarter, I guess you can say, but I'm doing well. And that's also the reason why I haven't been putting out as much content as I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything's good. I have nothing going on. Just another guy putting out videos, trying to make people laugh. Because your joy brings me joy. So, yeah.
All right. With that said, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Blerdkast. I am joined to you by probably one of my favorite TikTokers on the planet right now. I've been a fan of his since the day I created my Instagram account, and he showed up on my FYP page, and I'm sitting here like an old man trying to figure out what's this new godfangled technology in my hand. But I swear to God, you're probably one of the funniest, most genuine persons on TikTok that's just making content that, like, I swear to God, I can't remember what video it was, but I laughed so hard, and I was at work, and my coworker was like looking at me like, "What is you laughing at?" I know what it is. I'm gonna save that for later. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? I don't mean to like praise you so much, but like go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's all good, Mike. Shout out to Blerdography. I'm Charles Henry, Mississippi resident, born and raised in San Diego, California. Moved out here when I turned 18, right after my parents retired. Been a nerd all my life. Wasn't too proud of it growing up because it just wasn't considered cool growing up. But I got more proud of it as I got older. And I just love to inspire people, man. Like the first year that I was on TikTok, I didn't put out any content. The very first year, I put out nothing. I was just liking everybody else's stuff, and I was just really afraid to put my gift out there, and but I just gave it a shot after my divorce, and I used comedy to heal, and I ended up inspiring a lot of other people, and I didn't expect to do that.
Yeah, you definitely have inspired me. I knock on some wood, kind of caught myself like, oh, let me try to make a video like this in this style. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm doing Charles Henry. All right. But I'm so happy to have you on the show, man. I'm so happy to have you on. Like I said, you are a content creator that I just appreciate the content that you are making. We're going to get into the content you're making, but like for me, for someone who's just someone literally flicking through, the fact that you captured my attention on an app that is designed for people who have no attention spans, and like because I'm sure you've seen your analytics, like all the videos like start off good, they just drop it like, oh, okay, retention time right there. You gotta make them videos shorter. But like your content just generally cracks me up. Like I swear to God, I'm gonna save that because that one you already know what I'm gonna bring up. But that was a very very interesting video you made. And then you followed it up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, internet is real. The internet is real.
I know what you're talking about.
But before we get into all that, first thing I want to ask you, you said you moved from California to Mississippi?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I did.
Why? Forgive me for saying sounds ass
cool.
backwards.
It's cool. It's cool. So my parents are originally from Mississippi.
Okay.
And when they retired from their job was the same year I graduated from high school. And I was not fully situated in California to where I could stand on my own 2 feet. So I just ended up moving to Mississippi with them. I've been in the South ever since. You know, now that I'm on my own 2 feet, heck, man, California's gotten so expensive. I'm like, do I really want to go back? You know, and it's just gotten to the point where, you know, I'm good where I'm at. I'm good
Okay.
where I'm at.
Okay. That's what's up. I can respect that. So before we get into the interview again, I have one burning question to ask you that all my fans want to know.
Oh Lord.
What are you currently geeking out to right now?
Man. Talking about in terms of music?
Just
Or in
anything.
just anything
Anything that you are geeking out to. It could be something
bro.
that was on TV last night. It could be the Olympics. Have you been watching the Olympics?
I have not, but I've been seeing the memes of the anime fans, the fellow nerds and the fellow Blerds who have been winning gold medal, been taking home gold medal, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too. Definitely love seeing that right there. But
Yeah.
what have you been geeking out to?
Heck, man. Just anime, rewatching My Hero Academia, which is one of my favorite new generation animes. Jumping into Fairy Tail. I was watching a few episodes of Fairy Tail this morning, as a matter of fact, before the interview. Still a Sonic fan. Will always be a Sonic the Hedgehog fan since day one. 2D Sonic is better than 3D Sonic. But I gotta give props to Sonic Adventure 2. That was my God, man.
I feel like you just started a flame war in the comments of this video.
Oh Lord, listen. I love Sonic. I love Sonic, man. I grew up off of 2D Sonic. You know what I'm saying? To me, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles combined that's probably Sega's best Sonic work. Arguably next to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I love Sonic. I mean, come on, man. From the Michael Jackson production team making the music for Sonic 3. Come on. And the music being in Sonic 2 being sampled from freaking Prince. I can go forever. Bobby Brown, the Spring Yard Zone. Go back and listen to Spring Yard Zone. It goes hard. Go back and listen to Carnival Night. I geek over video game music probably more than anything. I bump video game music during break time at my job.
I can respect that actually. I can definitely respect that. So outside of video game music, what else? Are you watching anything? You playing anything? You reading anything?
I'm a retro gamer. Okay. I have an emulator with about 10,000 games on it. From the first Atari to Sega Dreamcast. And I love to play retro games. I love me some Toe Jam and Earl. Of course, Sonic, as I've said. Of course, classic Mario. Shoot, man, I pop in Smash Brothers. I've even got the old school Dreamcast games. I was gonna wear a Power Stone t-shirt instead of this Knuckles shirt, but I love Power Stone off of Dreamcast. I love Marvel versus Capcom. You know what I'm saying? I'm off my emulator, bro. Like I love all that stuff, man. I geek out over retro games, Marvel movies, doggone a few DC movies. I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate them as much as the rest of the world hates DC.
Why not?
I don't hate them as much as the rest of the world hates them. I don't love them because they have nowhere near as much substance as Marvel movies. They don't take as much time to build up any characters. They certainly don't take as much time to build up any villains. You know, that's one of my biggest issues with a DC movie is the villains are forgettable. There's some of the most forgettable characters. I don't even know who Black Adam was fighting in his last movie. Like it's I don't know because they didn't enter. There's no development.
Right.
There's just no development.
To be fair, Marvel's kind of done that too with their villains and kind of just throw their villains to the wayside.
Yeah. Fair. I think DC is a little worse at it though. Cinematically,
a lot worse.
Cinematically, they're worse at it.
Since we're on the subject of it, I just personally, I think DC or the DCEU, whatever they were trying to be, too little, too late to the party. For one, especially trying to compete with Marvel by that point, because Marvel was in phase 3 about the time they came out with Bats v Soup.
Man,
You should have just reinvented the game and just did something
man,
completely different instead of trying to compete with Marvel. They didn't develop the characters like like you said, and they were just jumping so quickly to get to the big title movies to
right,
rival the MCU, like Bats v
right.
Soup, Justice League. They effed it up, and then you got the Zack Snyder cut issue and just Cyborg movie that's supposed to come out in 2019, but it ended up being the other thing. And Wonder Woman, first one was good, the second one was why did you make this, and just all
Yeah.
of the other garbage. And I don't even want to get started on Flash. Don't even get me started. Like, if I wanted to like have my eyes visually assaulted with just CGI for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I will go back and watch early 90s like 3D animation cartoons. So much better. I'm just saying that. And then like the cameos, they're dead, but look at them in their CGI glory.
They're dead, but look at them. Yeah, I mean, playing catch up was their mistake.
Yeah,
Playing catch up was their mistake. And they had the advantage from the beginning. Marvel had to buy back their characters.
true.
Warner Brothers had DC from day one. Well, at least before Marvel had all their characters.
Right.
But they didn't want to take a chance on different properties commercially. They just didn't. Not outside of Batman and Superman. Look how long it took to get a Wonder Woman movie. Look how it's. We still don't have a black Green Lantern, and that's what Zack Snyder wanted to add to the process, and it didn't even happen.
Right. True. We don't even have a main black character in the DCEU that has a solo movie, so that's saying a lot. Saying a lot. That is desperately saying a lot. But anyway, we're gonna jump back onto that conversation soon. But let's just go ahead and get to know you. You have grossed, as of right now, a little over 19K followers on TikTok. You've been on TikTok for a while. You make engaging content. Most of your, I'm gonna save that for later too. But a lot of your content is just revolve around you just pointing out the humor in everything that you see and finding some way to laugh at it in every situation. You like, again, I follow you, but like, let's just talk about your content, you being on TikTok and why you do what you do.
Oh man, I do what I do because it's fun. I think when it's no longer fun, that's when I'm gonna stop. But I just, I mean, I've always been a bit of a side eye commentator when it comes to things, and once I learned, the nature of just stitching videos, it was common sense. Just this should be my way of delivering content. It fit me like a glove. It just fit me like a glove.
Did you expect your content to blow up in the way that it did and you to amass the following that you now have?
Not at all. Like that's actually the reason why I wasn't putting out content for the first year that I was on TikTok. I had no idea who I would affect or who I would influence at all. Just didn't know.
How do you exactly approach your content? Like, do you plan out like, oh, I'm gonna shoot on these days and I'm gonna try to stitch and edit everything on this day and post on these days? Or are you just, this is funny, let me go react to it?
That's funny. I didn't expect to be asked about my process. But okay. So as soon as I get off work, one day I'll just go through my For You page and I'll just look at things that I find kind of funny. Some things I'll delete, some things I'll keep, and I'll just add it to my favorites. And the next day, that's when I do the stitching, video after video after video. I used to do between 6 and 10 videos a day, every single day, because I wanted to get in traffic. I just wanted to get in traffic. I wanted people to see what I see. After a while, it got more and more fun. The skits, Charles with the red shirt, the whole, the whole double identity thing. It's fun, man. It's just, that's all I could say is I was just enjoying myself, man. I love to make people laugh, People send me things sometimes. They send me videos that they want me to react to, and I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I'm a little guilty to that one myself.
Yeah, you send me some stuff, But yeah, I like reacting. I like reacting.
Okay.
I like to make skits out of my reactions.
Okay. Since you brought it up, let's talk about Charles with the red shirt for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about where did that idea come about? Because I think that was probably one of the first videos of yours I saw. And then you stopped doing it for a minute, then you brought it back, and I was like, that's why I started following you, because this was fucking hilarious.
Charles with the red shirt was first appeared when people were making a ruckus about a female Black Panther. That was when I first made that Charles with the red shirt video. I wanted the red shirt Charles to represent the people that were hating on her, and I wanted myself to share my argument on why you shouldn't hate on that. So from that point on, it was fun. It was fun. Sometimes I don't. It's I guess you get what's called like writer's block, because I do write out some of my skits.
Right.
Sometimes I don't. The creativity is not always there, which is why you don't always see Charles with the red shirt. But I mean, I guess after this interview, now that I know you like it, I can bring him back. I mean,
hey, it's up to you. Like, again, I create content too. I start doing the video series myself, and then like, oh, this ain't getting the traction I thought I would get, or the engagement, or I just got bored with it. And I switched up to something else. Like you follow me too. Like right. I was doing like blurred questions of the day and confessions of a black nerd, and then I'm like, oh, let me figure something else out. I guess I'm just using TikTok as a platform to just kind of grow. It's working, but like I'm just kind of figuring stuff out as I go. Like most content creators, there's no manual for this.
I still think that's dope. Like when you were doing blurred question of the day, and even when there are times when I didn't stitch it, I was like, dang, these are some good questions. But sometimes they're questions based on things I don't know yet, because I'm not the biggest in anime. I'm not the most, I'm not the most well versed when it comes to anime. I'm really hardcore when it comes to retro gaming and Marvel and stuff like that, and maybe the original 150 Pokemon. Maybe other than that, and Ninja Turtles, and Ninja Turtles. So yeah.
Okay. I definitely fucks with all that. like seriously, I fucks with all that. For me, is like when I try to create content, like you mentioned, like it's not fun when it starts to become like work. And I was already at that point prior to even jumping onto TikTok. And then I started to rekindle, oh, this process of creating content is fun. I enjoy the editing process. I'm learning how to edit on my phone better, edit on my computer better with Premiere, and just find more engaging things. I'm like, oh, it's obvious. Take these long hour and a half long podcasts, cut them up into like little 2-3 minute segments, and just see how that goes. That's kind of going well right now, actually. So I'm glad I started doing that. And like you said with the blurred questions, I started doing that because I'm like, again, my whole platform is bringing a spotlight to blurred culture and having a platform for other blurs and people of color, people of the diaspora, to just come and say who they are and just tell their story. Right. In a blurred space. And I talk about a lot of blurred stuff. I start off thinking I'm a cosplay photographer, but I haven't done anything really cosplay photography worthy unless I'm at a convention. And then I started doing interviews because I'm like, oh, if I just do podcasts, that's something I can just do in the back, on the back end, and just interview people and just have some random content to post. And I'll focus on doing like vlogs and like major major YouTuber stuff. And do all this and that. None of that came to fruition. Those little podcasts that I kept doing ended up blowing up in a weird way. And the other stuff I was doing stuff too. But once you start working on something and you start, okay, this is working, even though the numbers aren't there where you want them to be, it's consistent, And to be honest, it's easy. Like sitting here interviewing you and interviewing any guests, like because I love just getting to know people, and
Right.
just hearing their story. So like me sitting here talking to you is just like, oh, we're gonna do this at a con when we hang out. Like we're just gonna
Yeah.
talk and just get to know each other, and then just see all the fucking cosplay and just be like enamored and just nerd them. So
Yeah.
I love this process of us just coming together and just having a conversation. But I do struggle with like, when am I going to make today? Like you said, you post like 4 to 6 videos a day on TikTok.
Mhm.
I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work.
Right, right, right. I just had a lot of time on my hands after my divorce. That was all, and and I needed that joy though. I needed that joy to pick me back up, man. And now that it's picked me back up, is this happiness means nothing if I can't share it. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed making content. I love when people inbox me and tell me that I made their day. I make them laugh. I love it. It really keeps me going. It really does keep me going, and it lets me know. First of all, let me say this: I had no idea how prevalent the Black nerd community was. Me living in Mississippi, being openly nerd is especially not cool.
Right.
Being in the deep South, being Black nerd, especially not cool. So when I got on TikTok and I just saw this beautiful community of people that are into the same things I'm into, not only into the same things, but introduced me to other fandoms. And I said, man, this is really one for the books. I love these people, and I love the people that I've met. I'm appreciative that I'm not alone in my interest. I'm not alone in my personality, in the things that I walk in, and the things that I'm proud of. I love it, man. I love the Blerd community.
I'm so happy you said all that. So we're going to talk about that for about a good 20 minutes.
All right.
Like you, I mean, I grew up in Atlanta, and like you in the South, like it wasn't cool to be a Blerd. That again, to add layers on to why I do what I do, that was a whole other reason why I'm like, I gotta make something to show that there are Black people that have interests other than like sports and smoking weed and rapping and all this and that.
Exactly.
We come from a plethora of different places and backgrounds, and even though like I started to see other Blerds and other people of color just come out, like there's this thing at Dragon Con called Blackish. So Dragon Con that started 2015 2016, that had huge impact on just me personally, why I got into cosplay photography, why I got into doing YouTube and promoting Black people in the way that I do, and just showing, like you said, the beauty that is within the Blerd community itself. Like I cannot tell you how proud it makes me feel going to like a MomoCon, going to Dragon Con, going to Ranger Stop and Pop, and seeing Black cosplayers, Black people wearing Power Ranger shirts, wearing Naruto shirts, doing Naruto runs, not caring, and their kids are just like, they just get to grow up like and like part of me is so jealous because like they just get to grow up like that and it's accepted, but the other part of me is like, I can't help but like be proud of what this community has done, all because Black nerds didn't have a space for themselves, and we went and created it. And now Blerd culture, the Blerd space itself is kind of the envy of the geekdom right now in 2024. If you want to look at it like TikTok, there's TikTok and then there's Black TikTok, everything popping in Black TikTok. Matter of fact, we just had the year anniversary of the Montgomery Brawl, and I watched it live on TikTok. You commented on it. Everybody, the Black community came out in stride. We had all our fists up. Everybody was stitching that, had our 2 cents. That was a proud moment to be a Blerd. The Montgomery Brawl incident, and then like just all the other things that's been happening, and like seeing it play out through social media. and just not being so consumed by like 24/7 news and all that stuff,
Right.
which is weird because I work in a TV station, so I'm always surrounded by it. But like having a platform like TikTok and then having black TikTok, like I've always heard of black Twitter. I don't like Twitter, so I never like experienced black Twitter.
Right.
But black TikTok, especially blurred TikTok, is oh my god, I have so much fun just going down that rabbit hole. Like my
Man.
follow, I don't follow everybody, but like the people I follow, everybody's shining star. Everybody's shining star. I'm going to shout out a couple of them. Not only you, Mr. Charles Henry yourself, but Old Man Food and Anime. Like he's the whole reason
Oh
I
man.
blurred questions of the day in the first place because he did anime questions of the day. And like you, I'm not that versed in anime, but he didn't force me, but like he got me interested into like let me go catch up on My Hero Academia. I haven't seen that since season. Let me go watch Juju Kaisen. I love it. Let me try. Oh, okay. Let me try One Piece. I can't do it, but at least I tried.
No.
But I'm honestly trying to give One Piece an honest chance. Like back in college, I watched the first 100 episodes. I was like, this is lame. And after being on TikTok, I went and revisited, especially since the live action came out. The live action was interesting. I was like, all right, let me just give One Piece an honest chance. I went started back where I thought I left off. Then I just started from the beginning. Then I was like, wait a minute, this don't even seem like the same show I watched 10 years ago.
You know what? That's forgivable. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
The first time I tried to watch One Piece, I gave up after the first 87 episodes.
Okay.
Then I tried to give it a second shot, like for real, just give it a second shot. And from that point on, my eyes were glued to it. And then I started watching episode analysis from different YouTubers just to get a deeper understanding of what I'm watching. Because I love to hear other people's perspectives and what they gain from anime, what they gain from video games and comics, and just I love that. That helps me gain insight. So for One Piece, first 87 episodes, I quit. Came back maybe 6-7 months later. I said, let me start from the beginning again. Let me give this one more try. I need to see why this is a big deal. And I watched it. I think it took me about 5.5-6 months to get from episode 1 to like 1062 or something like that. Because I was watching a bunch of episodes right after work and right before work, every single day. And I love that I love that anime. That's One Piece next to Yu Yu Hakusho. One Piece is one of my favorite animes.
Really?
Next to Yu Yu Hakusho, One Piece is one of my favorite animes.
I'm going to make that a quote and put it on a TikTok video with your face on it. Okay. All right. Because One Piece is trash. I'm sorry. I can't. One Piece is hot garbage. It's on fire. It stank. And I don't understand why people like it. Like, I'm not gonna say that because that's disrespectful to One Piece fans. I'm not gonna compare them to MAGA, but it's a cult.
It's nowhere near as crappy as MAGA. It's nowhere near as crappy as MAGA. So One Piece, I'll tell you why I like it. There's in my opinion brilliance in the simplicity of Luffy. He's a very simple person.
Okay,
you know he wants to be your friend. You know, he sees right through you before anybody else. So you can say you don't like pirates. You can say you don't like this, don't like that. He is not swayed by public opinion. He sees you. That's what makes each Straw Hat want to join Luffy, because they end up realizing this is a genuine dude. He's a very easily likable character. He has infectious confidence.
Okay.
The one time where he loses his confidence was, of course, we all know Marineford when his brother Ace died.
I don't know that.
Okay, fair. Well, sorry, spoiler. From episode
it's not a spoiler. I'm not going to watch it. It's not a spoiler.
Okay. Okay, fair. But Luffy has infectious confidence. He makes you want to believe in yourself because he believes in himself and you enough.
So he has all the basic tropes of every lead protagonist in anime. Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So he's just Naruto and Goku and all the other Natsu. He's just all those characters in one, but a pirate. Basically. And I like pirates. I like anime. I like niche anime. It's just, for me personally, the fact that it has to take 1,000 episodes for me to get into it.
I knew it. I knew it.
Like you said, you went home and you watched it after work. Like, one, you'll never get that time back, but at least you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I will die before One Piece finish. I will live another 30 years and One Piece will not be finished.
Well, you can't promise that. Let's just put it that way. You can't.
I had to start 10 years ago and just had kept up. At least Naruto ended.
You're not going to get an AARP magazine before One Piece is over. You're not going to get no retirement magazines before One Piece is over.
I guarantee you I'll be looking at my great-great-grandkids and they'll be like, oh, the new issue of One Piece just came out, great-great-grandpa. And I'm like, please kill me.
That'd be funny if the kids come into the play and then by the time you have children, he's king of the pirates for the last 30 years.
How? How's he gonna be king of the pirates? Where's the One Piece? Why can't he just go get it?
He's looking for it.
Okay.
It's taking some time, but he's looking for it.
Okay.
And see, that's the thing. We still don't know what the One Piece is. We still don't know what the One Piece is. Like the whole anticipation of the show is, what is the One Piece?
All right, I'm gonna spoil it for you because I think I know the answer.
Nah, don't spoil me on it. Don't spoil it.
No, you can quote me on it. The One Piece is the journey we had along the way. I guarantee you they're gonna do that.
I will. You know what? That's fine. Because one thing about Luffy is he doesn't care about materialism. He doesn't care about if he really, his true treasure is his Straw Hat crewmates. His true treasure is the relationships and the friendships that he's built. So I don't believe that the One Piece will be an actual typical pirate treasure. I don't.
You just said what it is. They're going to go and find it and open up a box and they're going to realize the One Piece is us, our friendship and the bonds we have. And that's the end of anime. And I'm going to be so upset for y'all.
It might be. Well, don't be upset for me. Here's what I'll say. If the ending is underwhelming after all these years, after almost 30 years, I'll say that my favorite arc in One Piece is combined between the Water 7 arc and Enies Lobby. What most people would say, that's what it is. That's when the weakest Straw Hat challenged Luffy. Usopp challenged Luffy, the one with the slingshot, the one with the big nose. That's when the most cowardly character decided to test his bravery on the leader of the Straw Hats.
All right, we're gonna have a whole conversation about that on a whole nother episode, but I will put a pin in it, and I'll just say this. As a fan of several IPs and franchises that took 30 years or what felt like 30 years to start and conclude, I wish that is a satisfying ending, because I swear to God, if y'all get a Power Ranger Cosmic Fury equivalent to One Piece at the end, and then that's it, I feel your pain because I'm in that boat. I'm gonna leave that.
I can't be disappointed twice in one lifetime. My first disappointment was when I was crazy enough to believe in middle school that Sega Dreamcast would smoke PlayStation 2. And that was the one of the worst things I've ever believed.
Wait, really?
I was so biased towards Sega that I believed that Sega Dreamcast was gonna smoke PlayStation 2. I was that biased towards Sega.
I mean, I feel you. Don't get me wrong. I have an affinity for Sega too, but like then in 2001, that issue of I think Game Informer came out, and the PlayStation 2 is absorbing the Dreamcast into his disk tray. And I was like, man, that was quickly the end of an era. I was in the 8th grade when that happened. Like, damn,
I,
I remember that.
I was the Dallas Cowboys of Sega Blerds.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, don't say that. Jesus Christ. Wait, just off the record, you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan, are you?
I'm not a football fan at all.
Oh, okay, cool. Your presence doesn't offend me because you're not a Saints fan in Mississippi. All right, all jokes aside, but yeah, One Piece. I wish y'all the luck. You know, if you like One Piece, good for you. It's not my cup of tea. I've tried and I've tried again. I'll probably try again just because like I'm so like I don't understand it.
Right.
But with all that said, because we was just talking about black TikTok and then we just got on a tangent. I like that though. Like that was such a nerd tangent. But who do you follow on TikTok per se? Who do you like? Whose content do you enjoy when you're just out and about?
So other than yours, probably like Swa the Gentleman, Courtney, Queen of Suspenders. I think she's dope. I wish her the best. I know she's deleted her page. She is one of our beloveds in the community. You know, very funny person, very creative. Alexander Pleasant. Jason Alexander Pleasant. I think he's dope. Who else do I follow a lot of people. I can't think of too many right now. Why is my brain like frozen like this? Because I follow so many of them.
No, I know. I put you on the spot because I can't name any followers like that are people that I follow off the top of my head without having my phone in my hand. All right, so let me ask you this. You have a really popular video that you did. You commented on something, you stitched something, and I never had like stuff blow out my nose and like me trying to like hold in a laughing fart at the same time. But you stitched something called coochie chips.
Yes, coochie flavored chips.
Coochie flavored chips.
Coochie flavored chips.
I don't even remember who the original creator of that video was, but after I saw you stitch it, because I saw it like many videos, I see the real video and then I see you comment on that same video like a day later, and I just like, oh my god, I knew you was gonna do it. But how did they taste?
Pleasant. I'll say that whoever's coochie they modeled after has a great pH balance, if that makes any sense.
No, I get it. Oh my god, I get
it. But yeah, I had stitched that off of the dude that used to be on Wildin' Out, the Asian dude, Timothy De La Ghetto.
Okay.
And he was eating them, and I'm like, well, his face looks intrigued. And I'm a bit of a connoisseur myself, so I said, let me order these. So I ordered them, and it took forever for them. I don't know why it took so long, but it took forever. And the Cinnabon flavored were actually better. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you bought like 2 of every flavor, so I was like, what's your favorite?
Yeah, I bought the coochie flavored, Cinnabon flavored, and I forgot the 3rd and 4th flavor. I guess they were just forgettable, but you don't forget coochie and Cinnabons.
You do not. You definitely do not.
You know.
Oh man, I don't even know where to go from here after that. Where do you go after coochie flavored chips in an interview?
Well, you go to another bag. You know, I might order some more. You know, there's no telling.
I mean, okay.
I mean, it might take until next year to get them. You know, but
yeah, I was about to say like it's gonna take forever for them to come.
They weren't bad. As soon as I opened the bag, I remember smelling them. I remember very specifically I had to smell them before I tasted them. I have a habit of doing that with all my foods. My mother said I did that since I was about 4.
Oh, like was it like a refreshing aroma?
It was like as soon as it was like immediately after the panties come down. It's one of those sniffs. Okay. And it was enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So what flavor do you think would not work with coochie flavored chips? Like if you saw it,
underbelly, or whatever that sweat is under like the breast or whatever. I don't know. Like it'll
Because I was thinking, like, if you saw like salt and vinegar coochie chips, would that be like enticing to you, or you'd be like,
oh, you're talking about what? Oh, okay. So
oh, you took that a whole different level, didn't you?
I sure did. I sure did.
Okay.
I can do that. I can do that sometimes.
Okay.
So I would say blueberry muffin.
Would be a bad flavor for
Oh, a
coochie chips.
bad mix? Oh, you're talking
Yeah,
about bad mixes.
yeah, bad
Oh,
mix.
heck. Um,
Well, actually, blueberry coochie. I can't put this video on YouTube. I had to take this whole section out.
okay, that's fair.
No. I mean, I'm joking, but like, I'm gonna put it up. It ain't gonna make no money, but I'm gonna put it up. We talk about coochie flavored chips.
Yeah,
because it's the thing. It's an actual thing. I'm gonna have to put up an image on this whole thing. Like, this is what we're talking about.
what would be a bad mix? Probably sour cream and cheddar, or anything sour cream.
That's what I figured. Anything sour.
I don't want anything sour.
I thought I was a grown man, but I'm still a 14-year-old boy on the inside sometimes. That shit
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. You're 14, I'm 15. You know, we can all make these jokes.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. Let's get back on topic. Bring it back around full circle. Where do you want to go with your content creation? Because like, well, first of all, are you only on TikTok, or have you branched out to other platforms yet?
I'm only viral on TikTok. I do have an Instagram, or Facebook. I do have a YouTube. I'm only viral on TikTok. That's why I didn't expect to go viral. Because nobody cared about me anywhere else. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
It's really, you know, the Blerds of TikTok, and I put hashtag Blerds of TikTok on almost every video I make, because I saw that there was a community that was accepting, that was just like me, and I see beauty in the unique, and we are unique. We are what people may consider lame or may consider corny, but there's beauty in us. There's beauty in what we have to offer. Nerds and blerds, we see the world differently.
I agree.
Especially blerds. And we can add so much creativity and so much innovation to what already exists. We can create new things, you know, and I've seen it. I've seen, you know, Black-owned comic book companies and, you know, Black conventions. Like it's we really are awesome, and we've done this in such a short amount of time.
Right. It seems like the Blerd community, like, it wasn't a thing, and then the first Blerdcon happened, and all of a sudden, everybody came together, and just the whole Blerd community just blew up almost overnight. I feel like, but like 2019, I was like, what? Like, I knew we was around, but like now we here. Like, I used to have to hunt and search for Black people at DragonCon sometimes.
Oh man, when, you know, before TikTok, I had 3 Blerd friends, and only one of them was a cosplayer. Had 3 Blerd friends. The cosplayer, one of my best friends to this day, who lives in Georgia now. I met him at Walmart, and all of the Blerds that I knew, I would go to Walmart and go shopping, and I would just be hung up in a conversation with them. We would always talk about Marvel. We would always talk about Pokemon. We would always talk about Ninja Turtles and Batman and the latest video game and retro games and you know, and it's weird that my shopping experience is one of the most comfortable experiences of my life, because now I'm around people that are just like me, and they just happen to work at the Walmart in central Mississippi. So to find out that there's an entire Blerdcon or a MomoCon or AWA, you know, where people are just like me, and it's awesome. Like I went to the last con I went to was in South Haven, Mississippi. Well, in Memphis. We had an anime fest in Memphis.
Okay.
And to see these young Blerds, there's a purity in their happiness. There's a purity in seeing them be themselves unapologetically. I love it, man. I love it. I didn't have that in high school. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling. And just being around their energy and seeing them just have fun and geeking out like that, like gives me the energy, like, okay, like even though I didn't get the chance to do it, I can still do it now.
Yes.
And I don't want to say like, oh, I helped pave the way for this generation, because I don't think I really did anything to help this generation other than survive, if that makes sense. But like just seeing the pure unenamored joy from like the younger Black nerd generations, like they're cosplaying for the first time, they're their first conventions, they're experiencing geek love for the first time. Like I was like, damn, I remember the first time I'm like fell in love with another geek, and I was like, oh, I never thought like had something so special. Like just seeing their experiences through their eyes, and then like just seeing like just so quickly how the world has changed and how accepting it is for Black people to be Blerds. Like I've said this in one of my videos before. I struggle with the acceptance part that comes with being in the Blerd community, because 20 years ago wasn't like that.
Right. Truth.
Like I remember like getting picked on and having like the fight just because I was sitting at the lunchroom table playing Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh with my friends, and like no, my cards are gone and now I gotta fight you. This is what we gotta do in the Black community at that time, is defend your own honor or you a bitch. And I was like, I ain't no bitch, but
yeah,
we gotta tussle, I guess, if that's what we must do. So yeah, it wasn't fun, but like they don't have to deal with that no more. Most of them don't, or they have their own problems. Let me say that the younger generation have their own problems, stuff that we probably never imagined we had to go through when we were their age. I just made myself sound like an old ass man.
We're getting up there, man.
No,
but I mean, I want to say you do inspire people, Mark. You really do. I'm sure that at times where you feel like you're not doing much, there is a younger person who sees you the same exact way I saw Phil Lamar when he played the voice of Static Shock. I saw Walter Jones as a Black Ranger the same way. I saw Wesley Snipes when he first played Blade. There's all you inspire people whether you know it or not, man. Your light is shining even when you feel like it's dim. So don't even
But okay, since we're talking about this, like from just one content creator to another, like I feel you, but I know where I'm at on the social media hierarchy scale, and I understand what the analytics and followers and subscribers and ratios and all that stuff. I'm a small content creator, very small, niche, micro niche, if we may say. So the fact that like people have stopped me, like, oh, I've seen you on X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot people can see me on the internet. Oh no. Or like I'm still like getting used to that. Like people have stopped me, like, oh, I follow you, I like your content, and I'm just like stranger danger sometimes. But I gotta get used to that. I gotta get used to that. And it's so weird because I used to be like such an extrovert when I was younger, when I was a teenager. I would have loved to like live in the time that we are in now as a teenager. But now as an adult, I'm kind of like, you definitely gotta watch your back. Everybody who say they this, they that, you just don't know. There's, like, especially like in the content creator world, like, that whole clout chasing thing, because I've been accused of that before by someone. I was like, oh man, that changed my whole viewpoint of you and this whole operation. But like, genuinosity, that's not a word. Genuinosity is kind of rare to come around because everyone's like trying to make content. They want to make money off their content. They want brand deals. They want sponsorships. They want to act like a celebrity. And it's like, especially when you get bigger and bigger in the numbers, that's why I was so shocked. Like, oh, you said yes, because I've had some people with your numbers are higher or lower that was like, who are you? You ain't even at 10K yet. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm trying to get there. And my niche is, I do little interviews with people and stuff and make little nerd questions, and I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see the good you're doing because you're in it. Like I get the same way with my own photography business. Like I'm so busy editing, shooting, meeting with clients, doing all the administrative work. I can't even sit back and enjoy the work I created for other people.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with my YouTube channel. Like ultimately, I'm making all this stuff to entertain people, but ultimately, like you, I'm doing this for my own therapy. Like the pandemic happened, we was all stuck in the house. What we supposed to do? I'm bored. I'm tired of playing video games. There's only but so much anime and Netflix in the world. I got all these camera equipment and stuff. Like, we might as well figure something out, right?
Yeah.
And it just started to become therapy for me. Me, like I said, connecting with you, connecting with other people, and just having a genuine conversation. Like, I did not know how therapeutic that part of the content creation process would be for me, or how much I needed. I guess that goes to show that a lot of black boys need to go to therapy. But
Yeah.
I do this because in some shape, way, form, or fashion, it helps me mentally, and I have a passion in what it is that I do. Going back full circle again, like you said in the beginning of the interview, when it starts to feel like work to you, you start losing the passion in it. And even with my own photography business, I had to step back. I'm like, all right, this is definitely too much like work. I go to work for that stuff. I don't need that in my own business. Let me step back. Let me take a breath. Let me focus on something else. I started pushing out content like around MomoCon because I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I want to experiment making this type of content. I've never made a documentary before. Let me try. And then I start just grinding and grinding and grinding. And even now, I haven't took a step back and like, oh, look at what you've done. Look at who you've inspired. Look at the positivity you're bringing out there. Look at the stories you're telling. It's hard for me to do that because I'm always, what's the next thing? What's the next video? When's the next post going to be? What's the next idea? I gotta beat the SEO to make content for this or make content for that, or I got to plan for this or plan for that. I don't have time to stop. Oh, and then, take a 2-minute nap, wake up, go to work 8 hours, and then come back and do it all over again. So again, it's just hard for me to appreciate when people say like, hey, you inspire me. I watch your content. Cause in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean? Like all I see is the flaws that I did. Like you like that video, but like it has a blurry image in it, or the audio isn't so good. You can barely hear over the music, or all I see is like the flaws. And I guess I've always been that way. I'm an artist. I'm artsy fartsy. Even when I was drawing, even with my photography, I always been like, this and this and this is wrong before it's perfect. I know I put it out there for people to see, but now I need people to see it to give me feedback so I know what to do better. And that has always been my mindset with this. So I just always had that approach towards it. So it's just hard for me to acknowledge all the appreciation and gratitude that I've been getting, but I'm working on that.
Oh yeah. You said, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's therapeutic.
Right.
That's something I never even thought about, but it's 100% true. This content creation has helped me mentally.
Yeah.
It's we really are putting out art and pouring out our heart at the same time. Like even when it's fun, we're just doing it for fun. I get home from work, I put on my casual clothes after I'm done, because I don't go to work fresh like this. I don't put none of my fresh blurred gear on in a factory. Ain't no way. So it's when I get home and I create, it never even dawned on me how cleansing and therapeutic as you said it can be, man. And I really love it. I TikTok is just fun to me. I love what I do more than I love the result. And I think that's what's kept me consistent. I love what I do more than I love the result. So there are times when I've gone viral. There are times where I've only had 100 or 200 views. There are times when I've made more serious social justice videos and if it got 0 views in 24 hours. They're shadow banning me when I want to speak up for Black women, when I want to speak up for the Black community.
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot, actually. Shit, I've been had videos removed just for making a video of how I identify, and up.
Mm-hmm.
Community violation. And then I noticed a trend within, especially within the Blerd community on TikTok. Anytime we stick up for ourselves or defend somebody else within our community, or we just say certain key phrases or words, like if I just say black, content violation. So I have to say blurred all the time. If I put black nerd in the hashtags, video don't go nowhere. But if I exclude anything black from the hashtags, black nerd, blurred, anything relating to black culture or just black people, video don't go so well on TikTok. TikTok is very race car driven, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. They won't say it out loud, but absolutely.
So let me ask you, and you brought up something that's a good point. Like, you have made all types of videos covering all different spectrums, from nerdom to social justice to current events to pop culture. Would you say you have a particular niche in the type of content you create, or you just go with what you feel like?
If I were to call my niche anything, I guess you can call it comedy. Or just put it under Blerds of TikTok. I really overall just want to represent for the Blerds at this point. I want to be unapologetically blerd. I want young black boys and young black girls and even grown people who are in the blerd community to know that there is no shame in being the way that you are. There's no shame in liking the things that you like. You're not lame for liking superheroes and anime and, you know, video games. It's not childish. As a matter of fact, some of the most mature messages we attain come from anime. Some of the most, you know, some of the greatest parables are in comic books and in video games, and what the characters stand for. And it's there's beauty in all of it. And I think anybody who sees it as lame just simply does not see the beauty. Right. And that's the most respectful I can be about those people. They just don't see the beauty in it.
I can respect that. And that brings up my final fact about you. The reason why I really vibe with the content you make is that regardless of what you do or the content you make, you are always so positive with it. You always got a smile on your face. Even in some of your more serious videos, you try to be uplifting. You try to be motivating. I don't think I really ever heard you say anything really negative about anything or anyone, regardless of the situation. You either keep it straight up and honest and lighthearted, or you just go for the laughs and the giggles and like you just bring the humor. And I appreciate that so much, because like so much of TikTok, the other side of TikTok, filled with so much stuff, and it's so easy to get caught up in that negativity and to go down those rabbit holes, and you know, all those other stuff that goes on with the current events and hearing everybody's story. Like the one drawback to social media, and you can fight me in the comments about this, everybody, but as much as social media has brought the world together, it's given too many people a platform to say whatever is on their mind. Some of these people just shut the fuck up, but social media has given everyone a voice, and they choose to use it thusly. And that's all I got to say about that.
Agreed. I just like to give out the type of energy that I want to receive. That's really where that positivity comes from. It's there's a thought process of, you know, I don't want to put anything out that's gonna purposely stir the pot. But at the same time, like, I have to be true. So whatever happens from the truth is gonna happen. You know,
right.
You know, whatever happens from the truth is going to happen. But I try to be as real as possible, as genuine as possible, and I try to say it in a way that I try to give out positive energy, man. I just believe in the energy people put out. You know, I don't put out the type of energy that would make a negative comeback just. You're not going to make a negative comeback justified. You know. Because people like you will they'll look at, if I had a back and forth with another TikToker, you know, you'll look at it and be like, well, Charles didn't really say anything too harsh to create that type of negative response.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just try to watch my energy that I put out.
I got you. Because there are some TikTok creators out there that actually use that drama and negativity. They even manufacture some of it just for the views and for the engagement.
Absolutely.
And I see a lot of that. There's one content creator that's kind of his shtick, and I'm like, all right, I guess just keep talking about comics every now and then, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know who I'm talking about then.
I believe I know
Okay.
exactly what you're talking about.
And even like with what happened with the Ebony Warrior in the last couple of days, like that's why I said, like, you gotta be careful out there. Like, everybody ain't your friend, everybody ain't, out there to give you praise. There's some false flags out there. Some people ain't just trying to give you their honest 2 cents. Some people trying to drag you through the mud just because it's fun for them. And you just gotta be careful. I just gotta be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You gotta be careful. But I've been fortunate enough, to link up with some real genuine people off of TikTok, in the Blerd community. I've had good conversations with most of them. No real drama, I may have had 1 or 2 misunderstandings, but I've cleared that up because I'm the type of guy who doesn't mind confronting the issue so that we can resolve the issue.
All right. Ooh, I just got a great idea for a final question to ask you.
All right.
This is just, again, honest content creator to content creator, because I'm thinking like, dang, I think I need to do this. When you're engaging on TikTok, do you have your main account, and then like for personal stuff you have like different accounts, or do you just do everything on the same account?
I do everything on the same account.
Okay. I need to use those multiple accounts I have, because I gotta so again, I get caught up in some of the stuff sometimes, and sometimes I say, like, I go after like certain people when they say stuff it irks me when people just talk shit about Black women.
Absolutely.
Like, not trying to get political, but ever since that happened a couple of weeks ago, it's just been like, I just been fighting every day, just defending Black women and defending Black men. And then it's like, why is other Black men talking shit about Black women? That never makes sense to me. But whatever, not trying to get political. But yeah. It's been a fight. It's been a fight. But yeah, I need to create a personal account that's separate from the trying to make money account. And just not say have a different persona, but just to be extra careful. You can never be too careful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the disrespect towards Black women outside of the community is frustrating, and the discord between Black men and Black women within the community is saddening.
Yeah,
it's very disheartening. And people see the dysfunction outside the community,
right?
And that doesn't make us look any better, and that's why you've never really seen me do a video where I just have a public dispute with a Black woman, because even if we have our disagreements, that's between us.
Right.
That's between us, in most cases. And one of the reasons why, when I check my analytics, my followers, were 73% women. And I'm like, oh, what? And when that happened after I responded to the dude that said, if it ain't snowing, we ain't going, and
I remember that.
Yeah. And then I went ahead, and I remember making that video. I had got off work. I work night shift, and I got off work early, and I made that video at 1 a.m. I said, well, if it ain't chocolate, I can't rock with it. If it ain't caramel, I'm not gonna like it very well. It's so I just, it was fun, but it was true, and it needed to be said. It needed to be said. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's jokes in what I say, but there's truth behind it, man. I can never disparage a woman that signifies where I come from. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I came from a Black woman. I can never purposely disparage or disrespect a woman that signifies where I come from. They're just too important. They're too important. They're more important than then we know, man. Yeah, and it's sad to see the disrespect. It's even in the justice system. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
You go back to that situation. Not even the Sonia Massey situation, but the Breonna Taylor situation. When the cops were charged for the bullets that missed, they were charged for the bullets that went through the wall and almost hit the neighbor, not the bullets that hit her.
Right.
Insane. Like, what kind of world are we living in? They're playing right in our faces when it comes to justice stuff. And I know I don't make a lot of videos like that, but I do feel a way about it when it happens.
No, I feel you. Like, again, I don't make a lot of, and for like so many reasons, like that's why it's about the niche thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't make a lot of videos about it either. But like they're playing in our faces. This is more than just a justice system. They're across the board. The entire game is rigged against us that we helped fucking build. But whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if I swear to God, if I hear, well, what about a White History Month? You kind of swing and a miss the whole point.
They have white history all throughout the year.
Exactly. Like why don't you get that? Even Black History Month is White History Month because we got fucking George Washington shit.
You need a month. You have industries. What are you talking about?
Right. You trying to whitewash a whole fucking continent. What the fuck you mean? What the fuck you mean? What about White History Month? Fuck you mean? What if we made a White Geeks for Dragon Con? It's called Dragon Con.
Exactly.
It's just called Dragon Con. You have the privilege of not having to put a designated color in front of it.
Exactly.
You just walk outside. Oh, it's Tuesday. It must be for me. That's how normal that is. That's why we have to go create Black spaces. That's why we have to go create queer spaces and trans spaces and spaces specifically for Black women within the Black community. Because
no, I get it. We were ostracized in the original spaces, so we created our own spaces, and then they want to gaslight us by saying, well, why does it have to be Blerdcon? Why does it have to be Black this and Black that? You know why? Because you ostracized us. You treated us like we didn't belong in those original spaces when we wanted to join you.
Exactly. And I swear to God, if I hear one more person say, well, y'all get to have HBCUs, they're mostly white. They're mostly white. Did you know that all the HBCUs is mostly white?
Yes.
Like, and I know we said we wouldn't get political on the Geek Show, but like, it's kind of hard to avoid being political and Black and a nerd because the whole thing is politicized in that way. Like, the fact that we had to create a Black version of this thing that already exists is fucking preposterous in the first place. And the fact that, like you said, you want to go and greenlight us and undermine us and infiltrate us and be like, oh, we should do white this and white that. And I'm just like, you missed the point. You don't understand. Like y'all names is on the building, on the roads, and in monuments and stuff. And we can't even get credit for inventing breakdancing during the Olympics.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. That's funny. That's sad.
It's sad, and like it's so sad it has no choice but to be funny.
Yeah.
Which brings us again full circle, like the whole point of like Black humor is built in pain and trauma and struggle. Like, we had to laugh at ourselves in this situation because what the fuck else were we supposed to do?
Exactly.
Because if we rise up and rebel and overcome, you're gonna wipe us out. We knew that this whole time. Like you know, I get tired of how we are portrayed, not only by other people within this country, but how the world portrays. This whole Olympics thing has really kind of opened up my eyes and like have a different viewpoint of how American culture is perceived throughout the rest of the world. American culture throughout the rest of the world is basically Black culture, but nobody in the rest of the world is giving the African Americans just the fact that we created all this stuff that the rest of the world is enjoying: breakdancing, rap music, hip hop, on R&B, fashion. Like, France and all this and that. But no, black people wear stuff. We make it cool. You wearing a goddamn Knuckles hat.
Yeah.
You know how fucking cool you look right now?
Appreciate
I'm
it.
just saying, like, we just exist and make things fucking happen by just existing, trying to survive and make a space for ourselves. And then here come everybody else. I think affirmative action is not fair. Do you know why it's there in the first place? Did you know why it's there in the first place?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
that
man.
was a rant. That was
it's all good. It's all good. You've made a point, and I agree with it. We are the top innovators, and we get little to no credit for everything we introduce to the world.
Like, how the fuck is, like, okay, nothing against K-pop.
Right.
It's nothing but early 2000s hip hop and R&B.
Right.
In Korean. And mixing with some like NSYNC and Backstreet Boy stuff, which black people started the boy band movement. Mm-hmm. Like music, like music, fashion, sports, entertainment, like, and God forbid we try to run for political office.
Dude, I'm glad you brought up the innovation, because I've said it. I made a TikTok video that went viral, and only went viral because of the controversy behind it. When I said that Wesley Snipes, when he played Blade back in 1998, it saved Marvel from bankruptcy, because Marvel was only $2 a share on the stock market,
right,
before Blade came out. And when Blade made $131 million, it pulled Marvel out of bankruptcy. And people said, well, no, that's not what happened, and you shouldn't give him too much credit. And even Wesley Snipes' best friend, Michael Jai White, said that Marvel is the house that Wesley built. And now fast forward to 2024, Ryan Reynolds himself put out a quote saying that there would be no MCU if they didn't have a market. And Wesley Snipes started that market.
Yeah, he did. And to piggyback off what you just said, like, the first Blade movie was basically kind of like what UPN. You remember the channel UPN back in the day?
I know where you're going.
Okay, so I don't even know to explain it. UPN was the first. I ain't gonna say first because we had BET, and BET back then was real too. But UPN was the first over the air for free public for black people channel, and it was that way because at the time the company, because it wasn't owned by Warner Brothers at that time, or was it? I can't remember, but they was like, let's build this station up. We're going to promote to the black community. We're going to give them Homeboys in Outer Space, Moesha. We're going to give them the Parkers and Girlfriends. We're going to have Kelsey Grammer sign off on it. And we're going to launch this massive popular station because it was built up within the black community. And we're going to stick some white stuff in there like Star Trek too. But they ain't going to watch that. I watched it. By the way, I watched all of it. I love UPN. And then like they're going to change the name and then start diversifying it. Like, yeah, they put some superhero stuff out there, but that was the trick because superhero stuff was popular with the black community anyway, so we was fucking with it. And then it's just a white station now. Warner Brothers done fucked us over. Warner Brothers and CBS done fucked us over.
I see that. They made their money and they bounced. Yeah.
Right. They built that whole station. That's why they're struggling now. That's why the CW is struggling now. And they won't say it, but they're struggling now because they abandoned the community that they originally built that channel off of. And now they're hurting. Like now they're hurting. But getting back to your point, you are right. That is 100% facts. If it wasn't for Wesley Snipes and Blade, not only there will be no MCU, there will be no DCEU. There might not even be a MonsterVerse. There won't even be a Spider-Man movie. Because nobody, because they did the superhero thing in the 70s and 80s and they made their money. And the only characters that made money was Batman and Superman.
Blade was the first Marvel character that was taken seriously mainstream.
Exactly.
Marvel's first live action movie was Howard the Duck.
Exactly.
It was Howard the Duck.
Yes.
Like, come on, man. It's you can't deny the influence unless you just don't want to see it. And I think that's what it is. People don't want to come to terms with the true innovation of black culture in America.
Right.
They just don't.
Not only in America, but the world. Like, don't forget.
The world.
Who got Europe out of the Dark Ages? Who got Europe out of the Middle Age, out of out of that era of their history? It was black people.
Exactly.
Taught them how to be sanitary. They didn't have that before us.
Mm-hmm.
They literally shitting in the same water they drinking out of in Europe, and wondering why they got the Black Death.
Well, they might still do that. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
But like, like black culture, even like whether it's from America, the Caribbean, Africa itself, doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Absolutely.
This has been a fun episode. This has been a long episode too. I didn't think it was long this long. But yeah, for anyone who watched and waited for this long, sorry that we just ranted. This was supposed to be just us talking about content creation stuff, and we went on so many different tangents. One Piece, coochie chips, and protecting black women. That's a weird sentence there to have that together. And ending on social justice reform and just how black people have been used throughout the entirety of human history. This has been a very interesting episode of Blerdkast. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank you again, Mr. Charles Henry, for coming on. Normally, I'll end the episode by giving you a soapbox to stand on, but I think we covered that already. So I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to give you a chance to just ask me some questions. Because again, like, I'm befuddled that you actually like my content and watch it. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like cool. All right. It's weird, but cool. I didn't think that would ever be a thing.
The only question in the back of my mind, since you don't like One Piece, what is your favorite anime?
My favorite anime? Oh, Cowboy Bebop, hands down. And honestly,
that's fair.
And I'm gonna be honest, Samurai Champloo, Naruto, because I rewatch like those all the time. What else? Dragon Ball Z, not Super, but Dragon Ball Z. The original thing that made everybody a black nerd was Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
You know that Dragon Ball Z needs to get its credit it's deserved. Why? Like,
without a doubt.
Stop saying Dragon Ball Z is the grandfather of the big three. Stop saying that. Sailor Moon's the grandmother of anime, period, in America, if you want to go down that route.
Right.
But give Dragon Ball Z its credit. Dragon Ball Z brought more people, more black people into anime than the big three ever did. Well, I can't say that either. But it definitely opened the floodgates.
Yes, it did open the floodgates. I can remember as far back as right before middle school when Toonami began to take off. Right. And I was in shop class in middle school. And I remember one of my classmates was like, he was doing these moves. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know, but I was like, well, where are you getting that from? And he was like, bro, you don't watch Dragon Ball Z? I said, what? Because at that time, I was just huge on Ninja Turtles and Batman and Sonic. And anime was just not, I didn't take interest until I hear people talking about it in school.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, and these are like before blurred was even a term. These are guys, they were blurted out, man. And of course they weren't wearing, the Dragon Ball stuff. It wasn't outwardly like it is now.
Right.
But that's all they would talk about. Like right before class and directly after class, as we put our stuff away, they would just talk about Dragon Ball. And they would talk a lot about Goku and Krillin and Piccolo. And I'm like, who are all these characters?
Right.
So I decided to tune in, and I'm like, yo, this is kind of fire. And it was really I was at a point where I didn't appreciate it as like I should have. I was young, man. And right. I didn't appreciate it like I should have. And then when I went back to watch it, I was like, man, this is very heartfelt. Like the first time Goku goes Super Saiyan, and it's beautiful stuff, man. It's really beautiful stuff. And yes, One Piece does take a lot from Dragon Ball. I have to give it to Akira. He's a mastermind, dude. He's a mastermind, dude. The Yamcha the Yamcha laying down, and I don't know how many people have mimicked that. And it's legendary. I don't know what else to say about it, man. It's just legendary.
I got you. I got a funny story. And then I don't know how I'm gonna end the show with you, but funny story about me and Dragon Ball Z. So again, I used to get picked on a lot. I'm a big light skinned dude. So
Yeah.
when the Boo Saga came out, guess what my new nickname was? Like sophomore, senior year, high school, it was look at Majin Buu, look at Majin Buu, and then I was like, I should be offended by this, but I can't be offended because I watched Dragon Ball Z and they is dying trying to stop him. So thank you for the compliment, you fucking assholes who secretly like Dragon Ball Z and just won't admit it, so they make fun of me because I'm all about it and they jealous of me. Cool, whatever. Because then when I see them 20 years later, like, oh man, I watch your channel, it's like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. I hold on to stuff. But I remember that. Like how you, and then how you go from calling me Kirby and Majin Buu, and then you see me at GameStop, and you're like, "Oh, I like your YouTube channel. I follow you," and blah blah blah. We used to live down the street together, and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of my face, you fucking piece of shit! I don't whoop your ass right here in GameStop with this controller in my hand." Sorry.
It's cool. It's cool now. Yeah.
Right. It's cool now. Fuck that shit. I'm still mad. I want to fight you now. But anyway, So I'm gonna have you back on because I like going down these tangents with you, just having these rants and stuff.
Man, I enjoyed it.
But let me ask you this: since we ended on the anime thing, we're both super nerds. In our own respect, I don't care how you say you ain't as versed in nerdy stuff. You are a nerd to your core. But let me ask you this: in your opinion, in your own words, especially when it comes to you, why do you think you, as an African American, relate a lot more to Japanese culture, being anime, cosplay, manga, than actual African culture? Because, and the reason why I say this is because I notice a lot of African Americans here, a lot of Blerds, we know Japanese. None of us know not a single African language. Or try to, or like, you know, we say we want to travel to Japan and Korea and all this and that. None of us, like, eventually will go, but that's not our first destination.
Right.
So that's why I ask you this question. Is something I like to ask a lot of Black people, especially when I know that they swing that way with Japanese culture stuff.
When it comes to mainstream, we haven't had the they have not exposed a lot of African culture to us. You know, the way that they've exposed Japanese culture to us. So I think we just kind of gravitate toward what we see as relatable. And a lot of anime, when it comes to, and I know you don't like One Piece, but I want to use One Piece as an example.
There are other animes you can use as an example though, but I get you. Go ahead, go for it.
It focuses a lot on propaganda and how a pirate can be perceived by the government, and how the government, their narrative on what a pirate is versus how pirates actually live, and not all of them are bad, and they're actually, Luffy is a great human being. They're kind, they're caring, they care for each other. That's kind of how media and social media can put a false narrative on the Black community. Right. You know, we're not all thugs and gangsters and pimps or whatever the world deems wrong. And I have to say what the world deems wrong, because as a Black community, I think we're vibrant and beautiful and intelligent and the top innovators of society. Like, we might not own a lot of the things that go mainstream and go worldwide, but we most certainly created it.
Or the cause of the reason why it got popular.
Exactly.
I was about to bring up the whole reason why anime is popular in the West, period, is because of Black people in UPN 69.
Without a doubt.
And because of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Again, they put anime on the Black station, and we grew up watching that, and here we are. Love Naruto, love Goku. Yes. Attack on Titan, love it to death. And like I said earlier in the episode, when Black people start doing something in this country and we make it look cool and interesting, everybody else gonna start doing it. As
We
soon
make
after we did it, the Latin community, like Dragon Ball Z, they love Dragon Ball Z. Then white people started doing it. Then Asians was like, more Asian Americans was like, oh, we've been into this whole time. Now we can publicly just be in it and not have to be harassed about it. So that needs to be said more. Black people are the reason why anime is more popular in the West now.
Absolutely.
Black people is the reason why it's popular to be a geek now, to be a nerd.
Absolutely.
We made that shit cool.
Come on. Absolutely. You got on a Marvel hoodie, bro. I got a knuckle snapback. We swag it out in our geekdom. We swag it out, man. It's we add so much flavor, so much creativity to the way we love things.
Right.
And that can't be denied. They see that. That's why we're their target audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we like I said, we're the innovators of cool. We're the innovators.
I feel you.
I
feel you. But with that said, thank you for joining me on Blerdkast. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, please go follow Charles Henry on TikTok and his other social media platforms. I will make sure I put links in all of the I will put links in the description so you can follow him everywhere, so he can go viral everywhere, not just on TikTok. I will make sure I do that for you. But please give Mr. Charles Henry a round of applause. This was a fun episode. I can't wait to have you back on. This is when you come back on, we're gonna get into some real conversations about some real stuff if we haven't already. But do you have any last things you'd like to say to everybody before we go?
Man, just thank you for having me on, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm very grateful for this. And yes, we're gonna have another conversation. We're gonna have another. I'll go live with you again anytime, man.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. But for everybody else that's listening, watching out there, you know what to do. I'm tired of reading this script that I keep messing up. Go follow me everywhere on social media. Follow Blerdkast. Follow Blerdography. They're two separate things and the same thing together. It doesn't matter. Just go do that. And I'm out. Peace and hair grease.